Well, first of all, I'd like to thank the organizers. I feel very privileged to be here and to have been allowed to experience these works in this way. I had many thoughts when I was looking at the pieces. I'll maybe concentrate on the thoughts that had something to do with the brain, since that's my job. I actually, when I was looking at the piece at the Giardini, I was thinking, what is this? Is the first reaction. What am I supposed to think? What am I supposed to experience? And what am I allowed to do? I thought there is a natural feeling of wanting to join in, but obviously you're in a museum. What are the limits of what I'm supposed how I'm supposed to interact? And I thought that when the young child came over, I would get some sort of answer, because the child presumably is free of these anxieties about the proper behavior. And then I started to think about the artworks themselves and how they really only exist at the intersection of the interpreters and the brain of the viewers. This is where it exists and where actually it's preserved. The only place where it can be preserved is in the memory of the people who've experienced it. And then I thought that maybe all art is like that. From the invention of perspective, artists have always relied on human viewers to create the art. And then I started to think about how we're biased when we look at anything, but especially when we look at art. This piece, interestingly, did not have a little wall plaque. At least I couldn't find one. But many of the other pieces have not only a title, but they tell you what you're supposed to feel and experience. And the power of cognitive information in shaping our experience of the world is immense. The philosopher, the scientist Rodolfo Linus, who's a neuroscientist, talks about consciousness as a dream entrained by reality, meaning that we're constantly making predictions about the world. And what we experience is not the world itself, it's the difference between this prediction and what our senses tell us. And in fact, it's almost impossible to experience anything free of that cognitive bias. I'll give you a trivial example. I was at my desk at work, and I was reading about taste and about different flavors of water. And I got up and went to drink from the water fountain just outside my office. Now, I've drunk from this water fountain probably every day for 15 years, and the water has no taste. As you know, you drink water, it doesn't really have any taste. But when I was paying attention to it, it was intensely chalky, just powerfully flavorful. And so for 15 years, I had drunk this water and not tasted anything, even though it clearly had a taste. And so if you can't even experience the taste of water free of powerful cognitive bias, there's no hope to experience anything in the world, things that are more complicated. Water is just molecules hitting your taste receptors and going straight to your brain. And even that is prone to cognitive biases. Neuroscience, the kind of neuroscience that I do has to do with reward. And I'm very interested in addiction and drug addiction and how drugs and non-drugs act to be reinforcing or pleasurable. And we used to think that there was a part of the brain that signaled reward. Reward is just an event that is reinforcing. It's an event that increases the likelihood that you will repeat the behavior you just did. But we now know that the brain does not signal reward. It signals a reward prediction error. You're constantly making a prediction about what will happen, and you're constantly updating that prediction. But just as for sensory information, our emotional response to the world is also a difference between a prediction and an experience. And so coming back to the art of Mr. Segai, the role, one way the artist can free us from this cognitive bias is to, in a way, put us off balance, to create works of art that have no context, or that are seen without context, so that you have to experience it free of prejudice. A bit like coming to Venice without a guidebook and seeing it completely free of any information, so that you don't feel what you're supposed to feel, but you feel whatever you happen to feel. I think that's all I have to say. Thank you.